Hello everyone, we'll wait for 2 more minutes before we start the session. Hello everyone, I am Anuj Agrawal, an undergraduate student of IIT Bombay. On behalf of Ham Radio Club IIT Bombay, I would like to welcome you all to the online satellite tracking session where we'll receive weather images of the Earth using satellites. So what is satellite tracking? So many of you must know that a satellite is an object which revolves around the Earth in a specified orbit. So it is used to send useful data back to the Earth. So satellite tracking is basically receiving an audio signal from the satellite in order to get useful data in the form of images, Morse code, etc. So the image you see here is of a NOAA satellite, one of which we are going to track today. So what do we need for tracking a satellite? A ground station is what comprises of all the equipment needed for tracking a satellite. It is also called as a radio shack. So this is an antenna which is set up on a terrace, and this does the work of receiving the signal. This is a motorized antenna which moves on its own when the satellite passes over the in the sky. And this is the image of the control room which houses all the equipments which does the processing. This is a transceiver, this is a handheld radio, this is the mainframe. So all of this included forms the ground station, which is very necessary to track a satellite. This ground station is of the satellite. This ground station was used to track the satellite Pratham, which was launched by the IIT Bombay Student Satellite Program in 2016. We also have a ground station workshop every year where we describe in detail about each of these equipments, and attended by students of colleges all across the country. And we if you want to know more about these equipments, you can check out our Insta series Know Our Shack, which has more details about the equipment. So now we know what do we need to track a satellite, but when do we track a satellite? So as you know, the satellite revolves around the Earth. So it focuses on different parts of the world at some specific time only. So this is a depiction of a software of a satellite, and the red area is the region where from where we can track the satellite, and the yellow lines are the trajectory. So we can track the satellite only when it passes above your ground station. So if you it is obviously not visible to us, but you can track it only when it is directly above you in the sky. So what is a pass? So like moon is a natural satellite, so you see the moon from one direction to the other through the entire, like in the night and then till the morning. So similarly, the satellites which are sent by NASA and different space bodies like ISRO, they also have revolve around the earth and have a specific path. So the black line you see here is basically the path of the satellite. It is starting from a direction southeast and ends in somewhere in the north side direction. The altitude shown here is 60 degrees, basically the height from the ground level from which the satellite will pass. So when you are actually tracking using an antenna, you have to point the antenna in this direction, then only you will get a proper signal. So this is what a pass is all about. So how do we know what time, what elevation? This is all we can find through the website www.n2io.com. We'll know more about this later. So like I was mentioning, in offline tracking we need an antenna and we need to put it in the direction of the satellite. So we have multiple offline tracking sessions in the institute, and where we track NOAA satellites and different satellites using antennas. So this is an image of that. So why do we need online tracking? Due to these unprecedented times of COVID-19, we are not able to access the equipments of our ground station. Like we used to have sessions, but now because we are not in the institute, we don't have the equipments. So we found out a way to track satellites sitting at home using just a laptop and an internet connection. So how does it benefit users like you? So everyone doesn't have a ground station like us. So online tracking is the first step to become a ham radio operator. After you get the knack of online tracking, you know how to track satellites, you know the basic things and the process, then you can move on to offline tracking. The basic step is buying a walkie-talkie or handheld radio through which you can track satellites. So once you start online tracking, it can be a good beginning for you as a ham radio operator. And of course lockdown चल रहा है तो काफ़ी सारे लोग घर पे बोर ही हो रहे होंगे. So this is a very nice hobby to have, and it is really interesting. Soon we'll see the entire process of online tracking. So what makes online tracking possible? I'm talking about sitting at home just using a laptop, internet. So how is it possible? It is possible using a website called WebSDR. So now this seems like a difficult word to understand. So SDR, if you follow our blogs, you follow our Insta page, you must have read this word SDR many times in the past week. So SDR stands for software defined radio. Traditionally, the radio components, they are embedded in hardware like filters, amplifiers, the ones which I showed you in the ground station. They are generally embedded in hardwares, but putting them into softwares to make processing easier is what is SDR. So like it uses modern computing and analog to digital converters. So WebSDR is basically connecting these SDRs to the internet, and we can access ground stations across the world. Like you can see here, this is a WebSDR at the University of Twente, New Zealand, and this is another WebSDR. So these WebSDRs allow people like us to access their ground station just sitting at home. We'll see more about this in a bit of time. So now we know all the theory of how online tracking has been made possible. So now we'll go through the steps. The first step is finding a path of the satellite. So like I mentioned, N2IO is used to find the path of the satellite. Secondly, we'll receive and download the audio using WebSDR. WebSDR has all the audios they are uploaded using servers of different ground stations, and then we download it using the website. Then finally, we change the sample rate of the audio using a software called Audacity. Basically, changing the sample rate makes it compatible for further processing, for further getting the image. And the final process, like I mentioned, is decoding the audio to get the image. Decoding, for those who don't know, decoding is basically retrieving the useful information from an audio. So we decode the audio using a software called WX2MG. So now we know the steps. We'll one by one go and do these steps. So now I'll show you what a WebSDR platform looks like. So like the photo you had seen before, this is a WebSDR interface. So here you can see the different locations where WebSDR is placed, like Germany, European Space Agency. So, and this is the map, like this is of a specific frequency. So as you can see, there are hundreds and hundreds of web SDRs, and if I go completely down, you can see the map. There are 178 web SDRs which we can access, but again there is a limitation to every web SDR. Like you have FM radio, like it works on a specific frequency, 98.3, 93.5. In a similar way, every satellite sends its signal at a specific frequency range to avoid overlapping. So that is why web SDRs also have the limitation that they receive signals at a specific frequency. They have the equipment which can receive the signals at a specific frequency. So these are the different frequency ranges at which each web SDR operates. And finally, this is the antenna which is used in every ground web SDR. So by now you must have understood that the entire process of using a hardware is happening, but because we don't have the equipment, we are borrowing someone else's equipment. We are accessing their ground station, and then we are just directly getting the signal and we are decoding it. So this is what we are doing. So like we are going to track one NOAA 18 today, a satellite named NOAA 18, which works at a frequency of 137.9125. So I'll type this is the filter for filtering the web SDRs according to the frequency. So I'll type in the frequency here, and you can see there are 4 or 5 web SDRs, and again in the map they are showing. So like I'll again type for you 137.9125. so these are the 5. So we are going to use the European Space Agency web SDR, which is based in Netherlands. It uses a half-turn QFH. This is a type of antenna. It uses the half-turn QFH antenna, and this, as you can see, 137 lies in this range of frequency. So this is apt for our tracking. So I'll click on this. I'll mute it for a while. It is already mute. So this is a web SDR interface. So it is based in Noordwijk in Netherlands. So if I'll tell you in simpler terms, basically we are virtually in Netherlands, and we are tracking the satellite which is passing over Netherlands at this time. So हम Netherlands में बैठ के Netherlands के ऊपर जो satellite जा रहा है, we are tracking that. So it is so interesting. So now this box you see is a waterfall, and this shows, this pictographically shows the spectral analysis of the signal. So the warm colors you see, the pink color you see shows that a signal is being received, and the blue and the dark colors are basically noise. So if I for a second, if I show, so if you can hear this, so this is what noise is, and this is what we hear when there is no signal being passed. So and when the signal gets better and the intensity is better, it gets warmer and warmer. So like I mentioned before, the frequency which we are going to use is 137.9125. So we'll put it in this column, 137. It was megahertz. So now because it is in kilohertz, we'll type it multiplied by 1000. So if we press enter, the cursor has shifted on its own. We can also move the cursor using the mouse. And so the first step is to apply the frequency. Then we use the frequency modulation, which is FM mode for the bandwidth. So if I click on FM, you can see the bandwidth bars. The left and right, which you can see, are bandwidth bars. So we can change this. So I'm keeping it at the maximum to ensure that any deviation in signal can also be captured. So this is the central frequency, and these are the bandwidth bars which keep the change in hand. And finally, this is the volume button. I'll suggest you, or I strongly recommend you to not change the volume, because this is optimum. Increasing this will enhance the noise which comes along. So you can keep the volume as it is, and never press this mute button while you are recording the signal. So I have muted the tab as of now, which will not affect the recording. So this is what you do. So now we have understood how a web SDR works, and now we'll start with the steps of online tracking. So first, as I mentioned, was finding the pass. So that we go to a website named n2yo.com. So if you guys want to find the pass along with me and get the signal, you can, if you have a laptop at hand, you can surely do it with me. I'll wait for a minute or so if you want to. So this is a website which basically, has all the information about all the satellites, about how it passes and what time it passes. So we'll see how it works. But because by default it takes the GPS location of you. So if you are sitting in India somewhere and you are tracking the satellite, so it will take your own location and then it will track. But because we have to be virtually in Netherlands, we have to change the location. So for that we have to register on this website. Only then we can change our location. So I am already registered, so I can give a minute if anyone wants to register right now. You can tell me in the chat if you are doing so. Yeah, sure. I'll wait while you register on N2IO. The link of the website is also given in the YouTube description if it makes things easier for you. So till that time I'll just explain this a bit more. So this is basically the trajectory of different satellites. This is the globe, and this is the information about the space station. So I'll tell you how to change the location. First you register and we'll move on to changing the location. Yeah, sign in. There'll be register option with sign in. Location I'll be sharing in a minute. After everyone registers, I'll share how to change the location. I'll wait for 1 more minute so that everyone can quickly register. Okay, so I see some people have registered. You can continue while I show you how we register. So you go in more stuff and you edit, change your location. So as you can see, there's an option of add a new location here. We'll add a new location, and we need the coordinates, the latitude and longitude of the location. So as I mentioned before, we are set up in Norwich in Netherlands. So you can Google the coordinates. I already have it with me here. So I'll 52.24 degree north. So as you can see, south is negative, it is being shown here. So I'll paste 52.24 degree north. Okay, I'll wait for a minute. The pass will start at 342, so I'll just wait for a minute before we continue.
Hello, Anuj.
Yeah,
So maybe you could take some doubts right now.
sure.
One of the doubts is while registering, it is only accepting USA phone number.
No, I don't think so. I'll just.
So yeah, maybe you could change your location to India first,
Yeah,
the country.
yeah.
Then it. One more doubt is the Wi-Fi signal in my room is very weak. Can it be improved using satellites? So for Wi-Fi, you can use a Wi-Fi booster. There are many Wi-Fi boosters available. So it's kind of an antenna. So it is different from satellite. Like you could buy it or make one. So you could Google it.
So
Uh,
one person
uh,
also asked, can we use Orbitron? So yes, we can use a software named Orbitron, and I'll be showing that to you as well after the pass starts. So
okay, I will
now,
mute
yeah,
myself
I'll
now.
continue. One person, Sanket, is asking, how did you get to know about the frequency of the signal we'll receive? So that we'll see, like, because we have started the steps right now. I've used WebSDR before, but this is where we start the tracking process. So you will get to know where we get to see the frequency. So I paste the longitude and latitude. We are running short of time for the pass, so I'll click on locate it, and as you can see, this is located somewhere in Netherlands, which is what we want to track. So I'll type whatever name I want to, and I'll save the location and click on select. One thing I need to tell, that the web SDR, some people are not able to open that on Chrome. There's some HTML issue, so Mozilla or Edge is suggested. So if you're tracking with us right now, you please use Mozilla or Edge for web SDR. So now the location is set. So the next step we do is find a satellite. So hello. So some people are asking me how to change the location, but we are running short of time. Like we have the pass starts at 3:42, so I'll quickly start the pass first, then I'll get back to changing the location. So we are going to track NOAA 18. So I'll search NOAA 18. Yeah, so after you are done setting the location, we'll search NOAA 18, which is the satellite we are going to track today. So I'll type NOAA 18 in the search. So we got NOAA 18, and like someone was asking, this is the frequency we get it from here, downlink at megahertz 137.9125. So downlink is basically sending signals. So that is why we put 137.9125. So here we get all the information about the satellite NOAA 18. So as you can see, it is somewhere here over Russia, somewhere here. So this shows the live location of the satellite. So we'll have to click on 10-day predictions to get to know when the pass is. So now as you can see, the pass starts at 3:42 on 29th August, which is 2 minutes from now. As I mentioned in the slide before, this is the azimuthal through which it passes, 14 degree to 14 degree north to 200 degree southwest. So if you're doing offline tracking, you have to move your antenna in this direction using a compass from 14 degree north to 200 degree southwest, and the maximum altitude will be at 3:49 p.m. Where we'll get the best possible signal. So the azimuthal that time will be west northwest 290 degree. So you move from 14 degree to 200 degree in a arc kind of way, and the elevation for our pass will be 62 degree. So one thing you must remember is that the elevation should be over 30 degree when you're actually passing, because when I showed you the image, I showed you this image. So as you can see, this is the elevation. So if this is less than 30 degree, the signal can be obstructed by obstacles like high-rise buildings, etc. So it is important to track only when the elevation is more than 30 degree. So that is why when you are planning to track, one day before you can open n2io.com, check the passes, and keep according to your schedule, decide when you're going to track according to the elevation, according to your schedule. You can see when you have to track. So now it is 3:42, so we'll go back to WebSDR where the signal will start in some time. So I'll set it 137. So the pass will start in some time. I have muted this website, so you can't hear as of now, because then I'll not be audible to you guys. So once the pass starts, I'll unmute this website and then you can hear it. So the pass is actually, according to N2IO, the pass is from 342 to 357, but it takes a bit of time to rise from the horizon. So we'll start getting the signal in 2-3 minutes. So we'll wait till then. Till that time, Arpit can share if there's some doubt. I'll quickly solve in 1 or 2 minutes.
Hello, Anuj.
Huh.
So one of the doubts is how do you take the image of your own location?
How do we take the image? So that you will do when you will actually track offline satellites. So then you can see by GPS your own location will be set on N2IO, and then if you track a satellite using a handheld radio or anything, then you will be able to get the image of your own, like of India or wherever you live. But because there are no web SDRs in India as of now, so we are accessing the web SDR in Netherlands. That is the reason we are tracking some other locations image.
Also, can you just show the latitude and longitude of the
Yeah,
Netherlands
yeah.
WebSDR that you're using?
So this is the latitude, and you can directly type it also. So now as you can see, there is some kind of signal starting. You can see pink shades coming along. So you will have to, due to some Doppler effect, this shifts a little bit. So you will also have to shift your bar. You can shift it either using the mouse or using this plus minus. So you can see the slight pinkish shade is coming. So I'll so this is how. So this is how, so I've started the recording. After you start getting something, you'll start the recording. Even if there's a bit of noise at the back end, because the elevation is not that high. So once it goes to its maximum elevation, then we'll get a proper voice. So then I'll also again make you hear it. So this pass will take 10 minutes. So till that time we'll understand about uh, what NOAA website, what NOAA satellites are. So as you can see, this pink is getting more intense. So I'll again unmute it for you to listen. I hope you were able to hear something. So one thing very important is that this signal will not be nice or very clear always. There can be issues like weather, there can be issues with the ground station. So we try our best again and again to track good satellites. So this is what you can do. So this, while this is being tracked and being recorded here, we'll go to the presentation to learn more about NOAA satellites. So what are we actually tracking? We are tracking a NOAA 18 satellite. NOAA stands for National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and it is an agency run by under the United States Department of Commerce. It focuses on the conditions of the oceans, major waterways, and the atmosphere. So 20 satellites have been launched by NASA till now. 20 satellites of the NOAA agency have been launched by NASA, and NOAA 15, 18 and 19 are the most useful and active satellites. So we track all these three of them. So like today we are tracking NOAA 18. When you plan to track, you can search all these three satellites on N2IO and see the different passes, see the elevation, and then you can decide which one to track. So this is about NOAA satellites. So what is the equipment in general for NOAA satellites? As I showed you, NOAA satellites transmits image in the 136 to 138 megahertz bandwidth. So this is the basic information, and we can, while if you are doing offline tracking, there are two antennas which are used for tracking NOAA which are very good. One is a double cross antenna and one is a QFH antenna. You can read more about the double cross antenna on our Instagram series NOAA Shack, and you must remember that the web SDR we are using right now uses a QFH antenna. So this is what it looks like. Like we are planning to build this in the next semester when we go back to the institute. It's a very interesting antenna. And for people like you who are just starting, with ham radio, they can also track using a walkie-talkie, which is not that expensive, but which is the first step to tracking offline. If you don't know much about how to make antennas and all, so you can start with a walkie-talkie. But we also have antenna making sessions in the institute where many groups come along and they make their own antenna and then track satellites using it. And these are the two types of antennas. There are many types of antennas. So you can know about more types of antennas on a website called antennatheory.com. We, Ham Radio Club IIT Bombay, also have antenna theory sessions where we explain about different kinds of antennas. Then these are the images received by our team using the Netherlands Web SDR. So you can clearly see that this is an image of the Earth from a far away location, from space. So if you are good at geography, so this is Italy, this is the shape of Italy, and this is Norway, Sweden, Finland. So these are basically, this is Europe because we are tracking through Netherlands somewhere here. So you can see the plus sign here. So this is from where this was the ground location, and you can see a bit blur on the top and at the bottom. This is because the signal is not the best during the start and the end. So the best part is in the middle, and you can see the map overlay. This is done through a software which you are going to use. So in some time we'll also be able to get an image like this. So these two were tracked by our team in this COVID lockdown. So many of you may be knowing that there's a Hurricane Laura which is approaching the US. So these are images not received by our team but by the NOAA agency, and this is how it shows how the hurricane is approaching the coast. So these satellites are generally used to detect natural disasters like cyclones, hurricanes, typhoons, and this here, the enhancement is being used. So the warmer the color, the more intensity of the hurricane. So this is how we can use different enhancements on the image to know various aspects like temperature and precipitation and all of that. So this, like Houston is on the coast of United States, so the hurricane is striking Houston as of now. Then finally on the 4th and 5th August, the International Space Station sends some signals which can be decoded into these images. So our team again tracked the International Space Station. For those who don't know, International Space Station is a satellite which goes across around the Earth, and there are astronauts, cosmonauts from Europe, Russia and US all around the year over there. So the Russia astronauts, using this call sign, they send these signals and we can decode it using some other software. So this is a very interesting, and this is used to interact with the ham radio community, and some people can also talk to the astronauts who are in space through this this medium. So this is called ARISS, amateur radio, in the International Space Station. So this is what we received. So now I think we'll go back to the WebSDR. So I'll again make you listen to the sounds. You can see this has become warmer, and so I'll unmute. So this is basically a rhythmic sound which comes, which will then be decoded. So there's 5 more minutes before we complete the recording. So I'll show you about another software called Orbitron. So some of you were talking about, can we use Orbitron to find the satellite paths? So this is basically the world map, and as I showed, this green line is the region of the satellite, and the orange line is the trajectory. So we can see how the satellite is moving in real time. So as you can see in real time, the satellite is over, this is Noordwijk, the Netherlands, my ground station. I've set this location previously, like if we go in location, I've set the location, I've used the grid locator to locate this. So my location is set, and I've put the satellite data. I'll tell you what data this is. So if using this software Orbitron, we can understand, so we can also simulate and check how the satellite is moving. So every 5 minutes the satellite is moving across the world. So we started at 342, so 342 it was here somewhere. So as we moved across, it came over the ground station. So this is how one more software to use when the pass is going to come. But N2, I would recommend you to prefer N2IO because it gives the exact time. This gives a pictograph representation which is not so precise. So that is why you should use N2IO. So we are done with this. As you can see, the pass is again deteriorating because it is again going back to the horizon. So I'll wait for 2-3 more minutes. So as I was saying, if we go in NOAA 19 details, we get, this is something called a two-line element, TLE, and this is the source of Keplerian elements. Basically this means that this is the information about how the satellite is going to move in which orbit, above what. So this is basically the entire data of the satellite about its movement. So we copy this and we put it in Orbitron, and after that this Orbitron shows the trajectory. So as load TLE, so once we add it to our our desktop and we load TLE, then we will be able to do this. So I am not showing this Orbitron in detail because N2IO is pretty easier than this, and that can be used for you in the first place. So I'll again let you listen to this a bit more. So as you can see, it is again getting fainter and fainter as it goes back to the horizon. So we'll wait for a bit more before we stop the recording and download it. So you must, again I'll go through the features again. You have to set the frequency, you have to set the bandwidth to FM, change the bandwidth bars to full, and you don't have to change anything else, no changing volume, nothing. And you can adjust this later after you see the signal arriving. You can move the central frequency to where the signal is arriving. So as you can see, this is again fainter and fainter. This is almost going to end now.
Hello.
Huh.
So Anuj, there is one common doubt that people are not able to hear the sound from WebSDR.
Okay, so like I mentioned before, but I'll repeat it, that here also it is saying that Java and JavaScript are both needed for this page to work properly. So generally, even I'm using Microsoft Edge. Chrome doesn't, like when I use Chrome, I don't get a signal from, I don't get any voice from WebSDR. So I would recommend you to use Mozilla or Edge, and mostly it is done, or you have to update your Java. So you have to, so the details are given here. If it doesn't happen, you can Google it. There will be simple options of how to update your Java, and I think it will be done. So you can see there is some signal still coming. I think I made myself clear. So we'll wait for a minute more. Any other questions, Arpit?
Uh, no, Anuj.
Okay.
Okay. Uh,
So now, yeah, as you can see, there is more noise than the signal. This has also become faint. So we'll stop the recording and we'll download it, clicking here. So as you can see, it has been downloaded. So it is downloaded now. So our next step will be to track the to decode the satellite. So first, as I mentioned in the steps, the first step is to use Audacity to change the sample rate. So I'll repeat once again. Sample rate is basically the samples at which the audio are received in a signal. So because we have to change the sample rate of the audio received from WebSDR to make it compatible with the software we are going to use later, to make it compatible. So that is necessary. That is why we use this software. So I'll go in File, I'll open. So quick access, I'm in downloads. So this is the recording we did right now. So I'll open it. So as you can see, the project sample rate is 8000. So the first step you do is change the sample rate to 11025, from 8000 to 11025. You change it here, and then if you go in tracks and you resample it, the new sample rate will come automatically. You click OK. So you can see there's some change in the this graph here. So the use of Audacity is done. So now we'll export the file again. We'll export it as WAV, because WAV file is needed for again the software which we are going to use next. So we need WAV file for that as well. So we'll export as WAV. We'll save it on the desktop. We don't need to change any artist name, track title and all. So okay. So it just takes 3 to 4 seconds, not more than that. So now it is done. We can close the project. We don't need to save this project. We have the WebSDR recording here. The next app we use is a WX2MG. This you can see because this used on this was, I'll clear this. This was just, it took on its own. So this is a software named WX2MG. This name may sound weird to you, but if I explain it properly, WX, it stands for image transmission in ham radio, and 2IMG stands for image. So basically this software is used to change image transmission in an audio form to image form. So this is what the name means. So again, this also by default takes your GPS location. So we have to again set the location, ground location in this. For the first time, when you track for the first time, you'll have to change the ground location. My location is already set. So you go in options and ground station location. So I have set Nordwijk in Netherlands, 52.24 and so on. So this you will have to set it when for the first time when you use this. So okay. The next thing, enhancements. So these are different kinds of enhancements which are there in, like I showed you for Hurricane Maria, there are different kinds of enhancements. So we have different kinds of enhancements in this app. So we are going to use MSA multispectral analysis here. So I clicked on that, and the next thing you do is update Keplers. Like I said, Keplers is the information about the satellite. So you need to update this before decoding. So I'll update Keplers. You can see the Keplers are being installed from this website, and new Keplers have been installed. So now we can open the audio file which we saved on desktop. So I'll go to desktop, and we have this. So if you click on open, and it will automatically on its own start decoding. It is building map. Yeah. So this is what you got. So we'll first save this image, and we'll change the enhancement now. We can change it to HVCT false color. So as I mentioned before, we'll not get a good image every time. the pass needs to be good, the voice needs to be good, and the web SDR should be good. So we didn't get that good a pass right now, but if you keep trying, you'll get better images every time. So I'll save this as well. So there's one feature like you can see this is a map which is being overlaid on this function. So if you feel that the map is not at the right location, like I can clearly understand that this map should be here somewhere. This map should be here somewhere. So I'll use go in image and move map overlay, and I'll click on this and I'll drag it over here. So now it has been moved. So this you have to do by hit and trial, by seeing what seems correct to this. So for now it seems correct to me, so I'll save this image. Okay, so now we have completed with the process of tracking, and we'll see the images in the folder. So this is what we received. Like it doesn't look very clear, but you can understand that this is something above, like it is from above the earth. The white things are the clouds, so maybe at this time there are more clouds, so that is why we are not able to see very well. So like if I show you the other images tracked by our team, I'll explain you using that. So this was tracked by the exact same process, so you don't need to be feel dejected if you don't get a good image. So as you can see, it puts the proper color, like blue color for water, green for land, and the white are the clouds. So it also depends on what angle it is on. So we could see only this area. I think by the map we could understand that we could see this map and nothing else. So this is what it depends on from time to time. So I think now we have completed the process of decoding and we have got the image. I'll be happy to take doubts now.
Hello.
Yeah.
So there's one question. How do we know audio should be resampled to which sampling rate?
This is what we get, like this is an information we got from the internet, and by seeing the compatibility of WX2MG, we have to set up, like we got it again by searching on the internet. It is a bit technical, so it is not to be understood but just to be followed. So WX2MG takes the sample rate of 11025 to get an image. That is why. Any other doubt?
Yeah. So basically, uh, the in the documentation of WX to IMG, it requires to have that sample rate.
Right.
Right. There is also one question. Right. Why can you use MMSSTV to decode this?
So for
So,
people who don't know, like MMSSTV is a form. MMSSTV is a form of, is again a software to scan SSTV images. SSTV is slow scan television. So if you see in this, these are the images by SSTV. This is a form of receiving signals, a form of decoding. So the decoding which we use today is APT. Again, this is a bit more into detail. So you can ping us later, because we will not be able to explain into much detail right as of now. So MMSSTV is used to track signals which are in the SSTV protocol, and for NOAA satellites an APT protocol is used. So we use that to track NOAA satellites, and that is why we use WX2MG. WX2MG specially for NOAA satellites. So when we have the next pass from International Space Station, we'll hold another session like this and explain to you MMSSTV and how to do that for sure.
okay, Anuj, there is one more question. Hello.
Yeah.
So, how to decide for how much time to record the audio?
Uh, you have to record till you get a proper signal, like we saw in N2IO that the pass was from 342 to 357. So I didn't start at 342 because the satellite was just going over the horizon. But once you can hear, you can see pink and warmer shades in the waterfall, and you understand, then you can start recording, and you can end it till you hear the noise. Like, I couldn't show you the noise again and again because it could not, then I would not be audible. But when you track, you can hear the noise completely for 10-12 minutes, and you will understand by how, if you're getting noise or if you're getting a good signal. So if you're getting a good signal, then you can record it accordingly.
Okay, there's another doubt. Can you track, can you track any satellite? So, actually, no, because the satellite that we are tracking right now uh, is giving that the downlink of the satellite is in the frequency band of amateur radio band. So, we can, like, you can receive if you have the correct equipment for receiving the signal for the correct downlink frequency, but uh, amateur band is actually around 140 megahertz and 135 megahertz. So it is recommended if you stick to it only, because it is available to everyone to use.
Yeah, there are many satellites in the orbit, but not all send data to everyone. Like for ham radio operators, only some of the satellites send data. The other satellites send data to the agency or the team which launched it. So there are some satellites which send useful data to everyone. So there are many such, like NOAA is the most easily tracked satellite. That is why we have presented it. ISS sends signals once a while. We have satellites like Fox satellites which send audio signals and all. So there are many satellites. So, but this is the most easy. That is why we recommend you to start with this. Then as you go on, we can explore new satellites. Any other question? Or I'll share the details with everyone.
No, I don't think there are any other major
Okay.
questions.
So connecting with us is as easy as it is with a satellite. So most of you must be knowing that we have an Instagram page, hrc.iitb. This is the link for that. So we share different interactive. We have different interactions. We share events. We have posts which are very informative, and it will be the best possible way to contact with us through Instagram, because it is a very accessible platform. So please you can follow us on Instagram. Facebook, we have a page called Ham Club IITB, which is there for wider reach. And finally, the most important part for people who are new to ham radio is that we have a blog called hrciitb.wordpress.com. On WordPress, we have a blog which has various information related to ham radio. So if you are a starter, WordPress ham radio blog is the first step for you. So we have a blog called Ham Radio 101, which has all the details of how to start as a ham radio operator, the basic theory, the basic information, and how to go about it. So if you want to know more about ham radio, you can move towards Ham Radio 101. Then we also have a blog named The Communication Chronicles, which has blogs on communication, satellites, and those are a bit more into the technical aspects, so that you can do later. And finally, we have a blog called Transmission Tales, which has all the information about the history and the concepts of ham radio, which are very important, like SSTV and call signs. All these small informations, we have good blogs on it. So you can surely go to the WordPress website, follow it, so you get an update every time there's a new blog. And for sure follow Instagram, because that is the most easy and accessible way. And we'll also be posting the entire process of satellite tracking, which we showed to you. The entire theory and the documentation will be added on the Ham Radio 101 blog by tomorrow. So it will have all the softwares, all the details, so you can go to it to see the stepwise theory of how to track a satellite. And finally, we have formed a WhatsApp group, which will be a discussion forum for ham radio operators, for enthusiasts and operators. So if you want to join this group, please scan this QR code and fill the form. There's a form about your details and why you want to join this group, and you can also find the link of the form in the description below. So please do so, and if you have any other doubt, please ask us. Like you have attended this session, so we now consider you as a part of our community. Welcome to the ham community, and we are always there to interact with you, to solve your doubts. So if you track, after watching this website, after watching this video, if you track satellites on your own, and if you share with us on Instagram or WhatsApp, we'll feature it on our social media handles, and we can grow as a community for all. This is what we do. We bring people, satellites, and communication together. So that is what it is. Any other doubts? Any other thing anyone wants to say?
Anuj, hello.
Yes, yes.
So after this, can you quickly just show them how to download WX2IMG?
Sure,
There are a
sure,
few people who are asking.
sure, sure. So any other doubts in this, you can ask me, otherwise I'll move to that. And some people had a problem with showing how to change the location in N2IO, so I can repeat that as well. So if you W, basically it is WX2MG. So you can go on any website. I think this is, so you can go on the website WX2MG Restored homepage, which is the third website, and you can open the link. We'll add all these links and all this data on in the blog. So please feel free to visit the blog, follow it, and get more and more information. So could you send me the link from where do we download? I'll check this one. One person is asking, can we have another session tracking ISS? So basically ISS sends signals only once, twice or thrice a year. So whenever we have that, we'll surely share on our Instagram page. We'll have a session, but as of now, we once you get acquainted with tracking, so it will be easier for you. So we'll surely have a session for ISS. So as you can see, this is the first website which came along. So we'll download for Windows. So this will be downloaded and you can just install it. There's nothing much more than that. So I think it is easy. I don't need to download it again. So you can search on Google and get anything, but we'll also put the links in the blog to make it easier for you, for sure. Any other doubt? And if you have any more doubts which we weren't able to clear due to the time constraints, surely ping us on Instagram or WhatsApp. The links of all the of the blog of the Instagram is there in the description. This video will also stay, and you can rewatch this video if you are having any problems to see the live demonstration. So you have all the resources, and we are ready to help at any time.
Okay, Anuj, there are no doubts.
Okay,
so maybe we
thank
could
you
wrap
so
up in
much.
a minute.
Thank you so much for attending, everyone. It was great talking to you all and explaining you this process. I hope the knack of hamming gets to you, and you also join our community. Thank you so much.